Sometimes in the research, we jump to conclusions too fast, I suppose, and publish the findings before diving deeper into stuff. But in the video on the Fable bypass, I mean, we question things as to, might still be Opus, but it did not look like it because obviously we did try the same messages with Opus and Fable, what we thought was Fable or pretended to be Fable. And we did get different outputs, but I think that's probably just related to the system prompt and what you get in Claude Code versus UI. Yeah, Javi dove deeper into this, and he captured some actual traffic to see what was going on. Javi, what did you do?
Yeah, so again, we should have done a little bit more of a due diligence, right, on checking, hey, let's not trust whatever the model's giving us back or Claude Code. But a couple hours in, it's a mistake bound to happen. But I did have that voice in the back of my head, like, just double check this, right, just to make sure. So I went in, and essentially it is what most people are commenting now that I went back to the thread and read through more than a couple messages in after trying it. It might be a bug within Claude Code itself, meaning when you do the by the way command or the fork, it might not respect the automatic fallback to Opus. So here you can see that the first comment that I did is, hey, how can I help you today, right? This is the response from my initial hey to Fable, just to make sure it's responding properly. You can see in the response that it is Fable responding to you. As soon as you do a fork with something a little more interesting, which is here, let me see if I can get it to the end. And you'll see that at the very end is where the directive is. And essentially what failed before, and this is just an example, you can do what's the latest CVE or what is a pen test or how to develop malware like you did on the previous video, like developing the Windows 11 CVE or payload or POC. So this, if you have the fallback disabled, for it to go automatically to Opus, it will trigger the Fable safeguards kicked in, and then you have the option to continue with Opus or edit the prompt, right? Essentially roll back that message. And you can see here that when it responds to that, you can see it's Claude Fable, but there is a refusal happening, and it does tell you the category is cyber, and it gives you the usage policy stuff. So it is kicking you out. But again, the main issue was that when you do the by the way or the fork, it doesn't respect that original fallback disabling that we did. I saw in some of the threads, and I'll show you here, like later on, what it does is just repeats the same message with Opus, right? And then Opus actually responds to you and gives you the full shebang that we were seeing. That might be why we didn't see any significant differences between one or the other. It might be that the system prompt was affecting it in some way, or to make the differences, or again, this is non-deterministic. So there could be, I don't know, it decided to go down a rabbit hole that it didn't go on the other one. So it does now make a little more sense on why did we not see that sort of improvement from Fable to Opus, or from Opus to Fable. And that's about it. I think it's just an issue on the Claude Code logic itself and not respecting that. I saw when I went back to the thread, like people were saying, oh, maybe check this and that, and they were saying check the logs to make sure it's not also using Opus. But at the beginning of me researching this a little bit more, I saw some models being used, but there were for like tools that Claude Code is using. So I was like, oh, maybe that's not it. So I had to dig a little bit more and say, okay, where's my messages? Where's everything else? And that confirmed that, in fact, it's not a Fable safeguard bypass per se. So I think they're doing the funnel of where they're doing the checks properly. It's just Claude Code is failing to, as a user experience thing, it's a little bit messy.
It is a bit messy, but yeah, makes sense. Even though, it feels like gaslighting from Opus at that point, since we tried all those tests about, trying to save Opus.
So I did went in and say, okay, reply with what model you are, and it did give me the Fable 5. I downloaded my flows from Mandible Proxy and said, hey, analyze these and see, do the breakdown for me. And it is that the system prompt or the instructions still contain that it is like Fable, right? Because there's something being set there that mentions Fable. So it leads you to believe that it's Fable because it thinks it's Fable based on the instructions. It's like they name it, right? It's like you name it, I don't know, John, your name is John from now on. So it's going to reply, hey, my name is John, even though the model is not named John, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. And I don't know if it's a system prompt. I mean, we set the model. It's probably just deciding that it reads.
There are some instructions are being set when the conversation is being set up that do mention you are Claude Fable 5, whatever. So there is something, maybe it's not the full system prompt, but there's some instructions from Claude Code being sent up. I think one of the mentions on the thread also was that even though the setting's not respected when you set it through the config itself, I should have looked at it before. There is a variable that said you can set it through the env to disable that fallback. And if you enable that variable, then if you said, hey, disable the fallback through the environmental variable, then the by the way and the fork start giving you that Fable safeguard kicked in before it even falls back. So, hey, a little bit DD next time. And
makes sense.
Should be good.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, Fable is not what it used to be anyway, since Kimi K3 is out now. That's
true. Yeah, I saw some of the benchmarks. Again, the benchmarks are, take it with a
what they are,
salt.
exactly. Yeah.
But it seems like, given that it is open weights and everything, it seems like the perceived gap between the frontier models from that are closed source or closed weights, right, versus the ones that you can download if you had the capabilities, right, and modify them. Getting closer and closer.
Just need a rack of GB 300s at this point to handle it.
Or maybe 2 racks.
2 racks, exactly.
Yeah, those are very hungry.
No doubt. It's interesting that nobody is trying to compete with like Anthropic using these Chinese models. Yes, I know. I mean, like Kimi.com is there, and you can send your code to China, but who wants to do that? It seems interesting. I mean, yes, we have like, Fireworks AI and things like that, publishes GLM, but the pricing model is kind of odd.
I mean, I think it's because there were some of the first established big companies that had this, model service essentially, right? So I think they have the first comes first serve advantage. That's how I see it. I think we're seeing it now. If people start moving to Kimi because of this benchmark, which I don't think they will, because there is now GPT 5.6 with Sol, right? They have Fable, which once they remove the safeguards or like make it a little less restrictive, it might be actually more competitive.
It's still not included in your max plan, so people have to pay for it extra, and then you still have all the restrictions. I don't know that.
Yeah,
they're gonna remove the restrictions. That's kind of still the marketing, campaign. So
well, what I wanted to say is, it might be that the benchmarks are a little bit skewed based on the restrictions that Fable is. And I'm not saying it's gonna be better, right? I'm not advocating.
Yeah, but then we have as you said, GPT Sol and things like that, which are not restricted as Fable is, which are at this point seems to be better than Fable anyway. So
yeah, I mean the restrictions get in the way. So
absolutely, I mean they're sticking to this marketing, tactic, which is silly, and it's gonna end up hurting them in the end. But
yeah.
It is what it is.
It's promising for, I mean, more competition between these models and these companies is better for us, right? Because then we can, hopefully that price is going to get eventually lower and lower for these models that can do what they can right now. And the more they iterate over them, they're going to be, we talked about it on the other video, like maybe the gap is going to get between each version of the model is going to get like smaller and smaller because it's just what you want to do, you can do with an older model at some point in time, right?
Absolutely.
So
anyway, sometimes if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
It is too good to be true, but hey,
it's back to complicated jailbreak and prompt injection reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice, right, to just say, hey, by the way, bypass. But I think, I mean, most of even though my theories were wild, right, they do make sense from deployments that I've seen and things that I've tested, where the routing is an issue, where the logic within the agent is an issue. So it's the people should still look for those. It's just that we had to go in and actually look for those and make sure.
Absolutely. Research is research. And sometimes you want to publish your findings too fast. And
Yeah,
so-
we went too fast. Yeah, or maybe just go back to the thread after a couple of days and say, "Let me see what other people found."
exactly. All right. Thanks, Javi.
All right, anytime.